Willpower Zone with Will Berry.
Hey, what's up? This is Will, and welcome back to the Willpower Zone. So, we're going into episode 4. So, we're going to touch on what is the point of struggles and why is growth paid through pain, struggle, or tension. So, we'll touch on to that today. But if you haven't got a chance to check out our first couple episodes, head over to willpower23.com to get on our email list, to get all the updates about new episodes and a variety of different programs and other things that we're going to be doing. So let's dive into it today. So we're going to touch on a couple things. Really the biggest thing is just what's the point of struggles? What's the point of life, and going through certain things? And then also, why is growth paid through the pain, the struggle, the setbacks, the failures, or more so the tension? And then in many cases, are you understanding what the reasoning is behind through all the pain, setbacks? Is really going into how you respond. So let's get into it. So what's the real reason for pains, struggles, and setbacks? And, when we come up short in life and when we go through certain things, the biggest thing mostly is just so that it really helps us to develop internally and externally and become a full individual. We all know and seen those individuals that, of course, when they haven't gone through much of anything, it almost seems as if their growth is stunted internally and externally. As we grow from adolescents to adults and everything, it's important that we go through each and every stage and have the willingness and the latitude to be able to explore and go through certain things. Yes, it's horrible sometimes when you see your kid, in many cases, maybe come up short on something or something happens that is unfortunate, whether it's like, just like my son the other day, he's running around and boop, he runs into a wall. And of course he's crying and he gets a little scratch. Well, I wish I had caught him beforehand, but these are these little things, you're just there for him, you know what I mean? But you can't have them walking around in a bubble. And that's like life in many cases for a lot of us. So we have to understand that, you want not necessarily to always invite pain and struggle and different things like that. I'm not saying that, but more so that you understand this is an opportunity more so rather than up. Here we go again. Here's something else, of course, to, have to get through and get over. And I always like to look at it as more so, these are just speed bumps, right? It's a mind shift and understanding and saying, well, this is an opportunity to really continue to grow on my character, really continue to develop as a full person, a developed individual. Because as we ascend and as we continue to keep getting better and better and better, really the biggest thing mostly is just understanding that this is just life, right? And you just got to pick yourself up and understand that this is just another opportunity to be able to grow. Also too, especially when it comes to growth, right? Just like, I'm really big into, as you know, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm into fitness and wellness and everything else. So when I'm in the gym, I always want to try to take one step closer to continue to challenge myself. And the only way I'm going to challenge myself is put things up on the weight, or the tension's got to continue to increase. Because how are you going to grow if you always do the same exact weight, or you always do the same exact thing each and every time? You won't. And what happens is that we get settled into, as we all know, that comfort zone. We do the same things over and over and over again because it's something that we can predict, it's something that we are used to, and it's not much really work involved. We just almost kind of like we roll out the bed and we roll into some of the things we normally do. So we don't want to do that. But the thing is that if you don't grow without continuing to challenge yourself, and this is why maybe stepping out and doing something totally new is always sometimes unnerving. But guarantee you, over a period of time, you get better and better at it. And this is where the growth comes into play. But really, the pain, the struggles, the setbacks, any person that you see, high performer, highly successful person, they always had this periods of maybe not winning the big, golf match, or not winning the match that they won, especially in tennis, whether that's Venus and Serena or Tiger, or Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Tom Brady. Everyone, we tend to just look at them at year 20 now and their success and everything. But a lot of the growth that was able to happen that got them to the point where they're at today was those early years. And I guarantee you, and it's interesting, I saw this quote, and it was really interesting, and seeing this visual of, a child basically, and the journey that it took to get them to the point where they are, of course, as an adult, and all the different things that we become different types of people along that journey. But guess what? You can't become the person you're supposed to be today without going through the things that you went through in the past, right? You can't get that insight, you can't get that intellect, and the all the information that it will take for you to take things to the next level. If you didn't go through it, you're not going to get access to it. And that's how growth is paid by going through the struggle, being a beginner, having that day one mindset. It's important, because without it, you lose the fruit that could be in the future dividends that could come up for you if you don't go through that journey, if you're not willing to go through anything. So it's important always have the willingness to want to grow. But the only way you grow is by being willingness to take the next step, increase the tension, do something that you don't normally do. What I always like to call kind of the pattern shifting, sometimes, getting out of the normal script and changing the script, ripping up the old one and writing a new one. Doing that more often, you will start to see the continual growth over a period of time. But one of the other things also too, which is important, is when you go through these things in life, guess what? There's always the universe or higher calling, higher power, God, wherever you want to call it. In many cases, always watching, or more so our higher selves, is watching and trying to figure out and saying, okay, you're met with another challenge, you're met with another situation, another setback, another horrible loss, or whatever that may be, in whatever form it may be. But how are you going to respond? This is another thing that is a separator from the highly successful, the high performers, and all the individuals that we may look up to, and our mentors and our coaches and everything that we aspire to be. Guess what? It's how they responded to the situation. And you'd be surprised that if you, more so when something happens and you respond to it, more so say, okay, it's another thing I got to prepare for. It's another thing that I know that we're going to get the job done and move on to the next thing. You having that type of attitude, it almost in many cases takes the sting out of sometimes the unfortunate things that may happen, because guess what? The real truth is it's going to happen. So wouldn't it make things better if you're just like, okay, we're going to take care of it. Let's just get it done. Having that type of attitude and having that type of mindset all of a sudden shifts things to where it ends up turning out to where things are not that bad. Sometimes in life we try to avoid some of the maybe sometimes necessary things that's really going to help us. And this is our way of trying to subvert or trying to fast track overnight success and growth that basically doesn't get paid unless in which you go through things and go through the setbacks. It doesn't happen. I guarantee you, speak to any most successful person that's out there, and I'm here to tell you they're going to end up letting you know that it was more so how they responded. I watch a lot of sports and everything else, and I always look at how did someone respond when they were right at the point they wanted to be and they lost a big game, and now they had to reflect and figure out what went wrong and go back to the drawing board. And how did they respond that next year? And usually, more often than not, they came back a whole lot better, a whole lot more focused and pumped up with energy and everything else. So sometimes it's the very thing you need is the fire that lights under you to kind of saying, hey, do you want to go through that feeling? You want to go through what it feels like basically to come up short, to be a failure. But I really don't look at failure like most people. I look at it as opportunities and lessons and everything. That's how I respond to it. If I come up short on something, I always go back and just kind of say, well, did I do everything that I could to bring a different result? And if I say that I did, I'm at peace with it. But I'm always going to take something from it. I'm always going to make sure to say, hey, you know what? I could easily do better. And some people may say, but you did your best. I said, Well, am I at my highest potential? No. I have this day in front of me and many other after. So there's an opportunity. So always when I look, and this is why I love challenges, I love the opportunity to grow. And trust me, I wasn't always like this. Before the days of me constantly, going after, investing in myself and reading books and personal growth and everything else. This is the person you see today was layers upon layers and hours upon hours listening to audiobooks and podcasts and reading books and getting mentorship indirectly. It's led me to the point to be able to have the mindset. But really for me, that has kind of always been my kind of secret weapon, is just how I respond to things. And I've made sure that no matter what happens in my life, I live it fully, without any regrets, without any type of hesitation. Sometimes, especially when you're young, you tend to be like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? It's like, just go for it. And then from there, take an inventory check and reflect and saying, hey, what you could do better, what you could do differently next time. So it's all a matter how do you respond. And if you do that consistently over a period of time, trust me, you'll see the results, and they will be flying off the chart. So I hope you got a ton out of today, and I hope this helps you. I know what's going on right now. There's a lot of things that are, truly trying to pretty much put the squeeze and put you in fear mode from the news and the multitude of things. Don't subscribe to all that. It's never going to help you. And trust me, more so subscribe, and maybe, sometimes maybe on the weekends, maybe just have maybe an hour or two, and maybe, read a book, decide to get on to a podcast from someone that you look up to, and see an episode, or listen to an audiobook. Just do something that's going to shift the pattern a little bit, get you out of your normal script, and respond differently, and just understand it's an all necessary part of life. But in many cases, the only way you grow is diving into it, embracing it, and responding to it a little bit differently than most people would. And this is how you get the results unlike any other else. So remember, take the point of sacrificing now so that you can have the life that you want later. It's important to do that. So you want more episodes, you want more updates and different things for our next episodes that are coming up, all you gotta do, go to willpower23.com. If you want to listen to on Spotify, it's there. Or if you also want to check out our YouTube channel, it's all there. But I'm excited. I hope you got a lot out of today. My biggest thing is just each and every time we go over a topic that's going to help you, and you can apply to all this information today. Remember, success loves speed, money loves speed, all these things. The quicker you take action, the quicker you can see the fruit from it. So, once again, welcome back. I'm excited. I will see you for the next episode in the zone, the Willpower Zone. See you again. Bye-bye.